It goes smooth.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Gillian Berry, and today we have an amazing guest on. We have Matt over at Raw Intuition, and he is showing us how to make one of the best raw vegan recipes of all time. You guys are going to want to watch till the end. This is a raw vegan lasagna. It is absolutely insane. I am on a juice cleanse right now, and I keep reaching out to all my favorite creators to create all my favorite recipes. So here we are with Matt. And I can't wait to have you guys follow along. And I want to also share some amazing, exciting news. Matt just launched a brand new book, and it is the 21-day raw transformation program. And it is doing so well with so many amazing reviews and changing people's lives. So go check that out. I will link it down below. And he has some other great books as well. So check those out. And let's say hey to Matt. How's it going?
Hey, Gillian, thanks again for having me on. I'm excited to share this recipe. It's honestly, I almost never made lasagna in my raw lifestyle up until when I just came up with this recipe not that long ago. And it's honestly one of my favorite ones. So I'm excited to share it with the audience.
Yeah, it looks amazing. So I would love to get right into it. Show us how we do it. I think it's fairly easy. It's not too difficult, right?
Yeah, it's easy, but it's like three different recipes all in one. So everybody's gonna get two sauce recipes because we got the marinara sauce and then the hemp garlic sauce. And so that's gonna kind of mimic cheese. And so that's gonna be the two sauces that we put in, and then it's got just a few sliced up veggies. So yeah, it's super simple. So you want me to just get started?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right. So first off, of course the sheets, the pasta sheets are going to be zucchini. Now, I've found that to make the strips or the sheets, it's easier if you peel it. And I'm going to be using. There's two different ways you can make the lasagna sheets. I'm going to be using this fancy little tool. It's called a Vasta, and it's how you can make nice square or rectangular sheets out of zucchini or other vegetables. You can also use just a regular veggie peeler, and you can make little strips and then kind of overlap them to make sheets. So I'm going to show you how to use the little fancy machine, but if you don't have one of these, no worries, just use a regular veggie peeler.
And I just want to ask, this fancy machine, this looks great and it seems like it makes it easier. Did you just get that on Amazon? I've never seen one of these.
Yeah, it is on Amazon. I actually got it as a gift from my friend Sherry, and so she sent me this, and that's actually what inspired me to make this recipe because I just lasagna in a raw form. I've had it before, but it was a long time ago, and I didn't remember even really caring for it that much. But I decided to give this a try, and when I made this, I was blown away. And so yeah, it's honestly it's super simple, and it's surprisingly satisfying. Like I thought it was just gonna kind of be like, just taste like some raw vegetables cut up and not very satisfying, but it really is. It tastes super hearty and flavorful, and so yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, you can get this on Amazon. It's only like $15 US, so not that expensive. There are more expensive ones that I would actually like to get. This one works pretty well, but there's another one. Hey Jack, little kitty. There's another one that it's like 50 bucks, but I think that it would probably work a little better. So this one, you kind of, the first time you use it, it might not go that smoothly, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. All right, so we're gonna start off, we're gonna make the marinara sauce first. All right, so we're gonna make our two sauces, and then we'll get into making the lasagna sheets. So I'm gonna use my Vitamix blender. You don't necessarily need a high-speed blender to make this recipe, so any blender would work. So we're gonna start off with, the base is gonna be cherry tomatoes. We're gonna use 1.5 cups of cherry tomatoes. You can use, or I guess these are grape tomatoes. You can use Roma tomatoes as well. Those work really well. Any tomato would really work, but you want about 1.5 cups. So put in that. And we've got 1/2 cup of sun-dried tomatoes that I've been soaking for about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna drain the water quick, and then I'm gonna put it in. that in. And then to give it a little sweetness, we've got 3 pitted Medjool dates. And for the flavor, that Italian flavor, we've got Frontier pizza seasoning, 2 tablespoons. You can get Frontier pizza seasoning at some grocery stores, but I get mine in just big. It's a big 1 pound bag. It's cheaper that way, and we go through quite a bit of this stuff. It's really good. So yeah, that's an option too, and you can get that on Amazon. So 2 tablespoons of that, and then there's 2 teaspoons of onion granules. All right, so then we've got let's see. Now 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar are gonna go in here. Now I don't use apple cider vinegar all that often, but for some recipes, it just comes in super handy. So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons. All right, so that is it for the marinara sauce. So we're gonna blend this up. All right, and I actually I made a mistake. I should have left the water that the sun-dried tomatoes were soaking in. You can actually put that in, just put it right in the blender. So just do 1/2 cup of sun-dried tomatoes, and like however much water it takes to cover them fully. And then you can just pour that right in, and that's gonna give it more liquid, and it's gonna bring in those, just that flavor as well. So you're not just tossing that down the drain like I just did. So I'm just gonna put in a little bit of water to get it to blend a little smoother. There we go. So that is our marinara sauce. So we're gonna just set that right over here for now. And then grab another Vitamix carafe here, and we're just gonna make our hemp garlic sauce. All right, so for the hemp garlic sauce, and again, this is gonna be like the cheese, all right? Kind of gives it that nice, familiar cheesy flavor. And we're gonna be using nutritional yeast in this as well. So we've got 1/3 cup of hemp seeds. All right, so the hemp seeds are gonna give it that creaminess. So we're just gonna toss that in our blender. And we've got some yellow onion. So this is 1/4 cup of yellow onion. Got 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Now, the great thing about this recipe is that the sauces that we're gonna use, it really doesn't take very much sauce to make the actual recipe. So you're gonna have leftover sauce for multiple days. Sometimes it lasts. I can make, if I wanted to make lasagna like 4 or 5 nights in a row, this one batch of sauce for each of them would last me all that time. So if you do want to make it multiple nights in a row, the great thing is you can you can really slice up extra sheets of zucchini as well to have for the next day, and they work just fine. Or if you want to make fresh sheets, you can just make your sheets of lasagna, your zucchini sheets, and you've already got the sauces ready to go. So it lasts quite a long time, and so yeah, it's one of the nice convenient things about it. If you enjoy it, you can have it a few nights in a row. All right, so now to give this sauce a little more bulk, because whenever I make a sauce with hemp seeds, it's usually a little bit thinner, because hemp seeds they're not as like hearty as like sunflower or almonds or something like that, sesame seeds. So they don't make it quite as thick as some of the other seeds. So I like to add in some zucchini. So we've got 1 cup of peeled zucchini. We've got 1 teaspoon of psyllium husk powder. Now, this is the kind that I use. I'm not really, is that too bright? It's not one that I really like strongly stand behind. I don't, this is just the one that I found. And so it's an organic whole psyllium husk, fiber. So I'm just going to put that in. And the reason I put that in there is, again, because the hemp seeds don't make it that thick. And so the psyllium husk powder acts as a thickener, a natural thickener. And so it works really well to make it creamy. And then we've got some black pepper. So we've got a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 clove of garlic, and then 1 teaspoon of brown rice, chickpea miso. All right, so this is a miso. If you don't want to use that, you can just use a little bit of sea salt if you're okay with that. So I'm going to put that in here. Okay, that is that. And then we've got 1 cup of water. Now, I prefer distilled water. I just recommend, whether you use distilled or not, to use a clean water. So make sure that it's purified somehow, so that you're not getting in, all the chlorine and fluoride and all these other things that are very hard on our gut. You want to make sure that you're taking out all the environmental pollutants and the farming chemicals and all that sort of stuff that gets into our water system. And does not get removed in the treatment plants. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna blend this up, and that's gonna be our garlic hemp sauce. All right, just like that. And so when you're using psyllium husk powder, it is going to take a little bit of time. So right now, this looks a little thin, but over the next 5 to 10 minutes, it's really gonna thicken up. So the psyllium husk takes a little bit of time for that soluble fiber to really start bulking things up. And so that is all you gotta do. You just blend it up, let it sit there for a few minutes, and it's ready to go. And another great thing is, the psyllium is a prebiotic. So it is food for our good gut bacteria. You don't necessarily need to use psyllium husk to get prebiotics. You just eat whole fruits and vegetables. But that is one, benefit of using that in place of other, artificial synthetic type thickeners. So it's one of the best ones that I know of. All right, so those are our 2 sauces. So again, really quick, really easy. And those are gonna last us several days. So you can use it for more zucchini or more lasagna if you want, or you can use it in a salad or in some other way. Maybe use the marinara sauce for a spaghetti or some other pasta type thing. There's plenty of options that you can use these recipes for. All right. Now to the fun part. We've got the pasta machine. We're gonna make our zucchini pasta sheets. All right. So I take off the blade guard. It is very sharp, so you gotta be a little careful with this. Now the trick here is you want to make your zucchini the length of what this machine is. So I kind of peeled it to that length. And so, yeah, I like to peel it. Like I said, it just, for whatever reason, it peels easier in the machine. So what you do, get your zucchini here, and then you want to get it. So there's a few pieces. This is the turning handle, goes into the end here. So I want to make sure I put this into the center so that when I put my steak in here, it pushes through the center of the zucchini. And so I'm going to get nice, even strips. All right, so now we take this piece and we put it in this side, and that's going to go into the other end and help to turn the zucchini. Now, again, this machine isn't perfect. You know, it's not, you have to kind of learn how to finagle it a little bit, because if you're not careful, it's going, this side is going to turn, it's going to go right through the zucchini. So you got to be gentle, but firm. All right, so let's see, I haven't done this for a few weeks, so let me remember how the best way to do it here. So I just want to turn it like this. And also, you want to get, if you're going to make this recipe, if you can find thick zucchini, that's going to be the best, because that's going to give you the most sheets, and it's going to make it the easiest. So find a thick and, you know, consistently, you know, through the whole thing. Some of these are thinner on one end and thicker on the other. So if you can find one that's a pretty consistent thickness all the way through, that's going to help as well. All right, so now I use my other hand to kind of help turn this as I'm turning. That's just going to help to make sure that I don't rip through the zucchini with the handle. All right, so. So you want to go kind of slow, but again, as you do it, I notice whenever I do this, the first one I do is usually the worst one, and then I kind of remember how to use it. All right, so here is what we're looking at, and the nice thing is it kind of makes its own separations. I don't know how it does that, but it kind of just automatically makes a good spot to tear it. You can tear it, or you can cut it with a knife, whatever. So here's a sheet. And so, yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need it to be, you know, it needs to just be somewhat a rectangle. All right. So we basically got 3 sheets out of that. And again, the first sheet that comes out is usually going to be the worst. So if you want, you can make another one. Just like that. All right, so yeah, we've got 3 sheets here, and that is how many you need for 1 piece of lasagna. All right, so we're gonna layer this. Let me move some of this out of the way. All right, so you just want to get a plate. We're going to put our first sheet down. And now we want to make the filling vegetables. All right, so usually I like to use spinach, but I don't have any spinach on hand right now, so I'm just going to use a spring mix. All right, so I've got some spring mix I'm going to use. I'm going to use some mushrooms. These are just cremini mushrooms. And I've got some tomato. All right, so usually, again, I like to use Roma tomato. They seem to work the best for this type of, like, the size of the sheet, but this will work. All right, so first, we're going to just slice up the tomato.
And would you say, Matt, is this one of your favorite dishes, or what would you say is like your favorite dish?
It really is. In terms of like more gourmet type dishes, I mean, this feels super gourmet, but it really isn't, because it's so simple and it's not like a super high fat, nut based recipe like a lot of gourmet raw dishes are. There's fat in the hemp sauce, but really, I think that's about it. So it's actually pretty low fat, depending on how much of the garlic sauce that you use. But yeah, honestly, I I can't even really believe how similar this tastes to like an actual lasagna from what I remember. It's been like, I don't even know, 12, 13 years since I've had lasagna. But yeah, this if I were gonna make like a fancy recipe, this would be the one that I would choose. And
And
if
I
I was
like
gonna,
too how it doesn't use the dehydrator at all, right?
yeah, exactly. So you can use the dehydrator, but you don't have to. And so I've done both because I thought initially that I was gonna need to use the dehydrator for it to make it really taste good. But I actually like it without dehydrating better than with the dehydrator. The only benefit to using the dehydrator is that it does kind of, when you slice when you're cutting up your pieces, it does kind of hold together a little bit better. So, but even still, without it, it still works just fine. Yeah. So, all right. So what I like to do is first, I like to put down a layer of the marinara sauce. And again, you can get as, liberal with this as you want. You can put as much on there as you desire. You really just need enough of a layer that it covers the entire sheet. It doesn't need to be overflowing because there's going to be 3 layers to this piece. So, you're going to get plenty of sauce on there. All right, so you want to put on your marinara sauce, and then we're going to put on we're going to put on 2 slices of tomato here so that it covers everything. Sorry. All right, so now we're going to slice up a few pieces of mushroom. And I like to do the thinner, the better, I think, in terms of your veggies that are going inside of here. So especially like the mushrooms, the thinner that you can slice them, I think the better it is. All right, so I put on 3 mushrooms there, 3 slices. You just want to make sure you're covering the entire sheet so that you're getting in a little bit of each different ingredient with each bite. All right, so now we're gonna put on top of that a few pieces of green.
This is looking really good already, Matt.
Yeah, I haven't eaten yet today, so it's making me hungry. So then we're gonna put on another layer here. And then we're gonna do the same thing all over again. All right, so we're just gonna, no, sorry. Before I put that on, I'm gonna put on some of the hemp garlic sauce. Again, it's really not that complicated, but gotta remember each step. All right, so a little bit of garlic sauce.
And I'm just wondering, so your new book, I know it's like so popular. What are some of the different types of recipes, maybe some of your favorite recipes that are in that book?
Yeah, well, this is definitely one of them. I've also got so there's over 75 recipes in the book. There's plenty of salads in there. They're not all going to be like gourmet like this. There's a lot of salad dressing recipes. There's a lot of salads and smoothies and things. But yeah, there are what I call big batch recipes. And that just is a recipe that You'll make it one time and it'll last you several days. So this would be, this could be considered one of those. There's also, I really like the tuna salad sliders. So it's like a tuna replication. I call it tuna. And so it's it's a almond and vegetable mixture that tastes like tuna, sort of. And it goes on little zucchini or cucumber slices, and it's honestly, it's incredible. That's another one that if I were going to go to a party, that's probably one that I would consider using because everybody seems to like it, and it's super simple, and it's just delicious. So that would be one. There's also pizza bites. Pizza bites is another really good one. That one does use a dehydrator. But the great thing about the book is that a lot of the recipes don't require a dehydrator. So if you're not, if you're new to this lifestyle and you're not equipped with all of the fancy gadgets, you can still take advantage of almost all of the recipes. There's I should count. I don't remember how many are in there that need the dehydrator, but it's.
And you know what? Like, I think a dehydrator can be good, especially now and then for like pizzas and like delicious treats. But I think like overall, most of us feel best when we don't use the dehydrator. So I think it's great that you did most of them without that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I use the dehydrator a lot more early on, but honestly, I've never used it consistently, like as a significant part of my like food intake. Usually what I use it for is if I want to like soak a big batch of nuts or seeds, and then so I'll soak them overnight, drain the water, and then I will dry them out in the dehydrator. And that way I get, you want to make sure if you're going to store soaked nuts and seeds, you want to make sure you get out all of the moisture. Otherwise they're going to mold. And so that's what I do. I soak a big batch of like sesame or sunflower or walnuts or almonds, and then drain that out after they've soaked overnight. Put them in the dehydrator for like 12 to 24 hours, whatever it takes to dry them. And then I can store them in the fridge, and I don't have to soak them each time that I want to use them. Now there's just a big batch that I can just immediately use out of the fridge. So that's one of the little tricks that I like to use. All right, so another layer of the hemp sauce. All right, and then a few greens. These greens are a little more fluffy than spinach is, so it's a little bit different using these. And then this is our top layer. Okay. So now I don't put sliced veggies on top, but I do put a little bit more of the hemp sauce. And I just cover the top layer. That. And again, you can go wild with it if you want. You can put a bunch more on there. And then what I like to do you can do like some basil or some oregano on top to just give it a nice look. And a little extra flavor.
That looks so good, Matt.
And that is lasagna. So yeah, I mean, again, it's so simple, and you will be truly amazed at how just satisfying it is. Like it actually tastes like, it has some substance to it, and it's just a few sliced up vegetables. So it's pretty cool.
And it makes you
Um,
feel good after, right? It's not like traditional lasagna. I know for me at
yeah,
least, did not make me feel so good after, even though it was delicious. So this is great because it's fancy gourmet, but it's like still such whole, fresh ingredients. It makes you feel good, which is just like a win-win. And just for anybody who might have missed it, can you confirm just each layer you did? Because I know we were talking a bit there with the hemp thing, and I just don't want anybody to miss. Can you just confirm like every layer so everybody knows?
for sure. Yep. Okay, so we start off with the bottom. You want to put one sheet of zucchini on the bottom to hold it together. And then you put a layer of marinara sauce. And then you'll put your layered veggies. So you'll put on like some tomatoes. And then on top of that, you can put some sliced up cucumber or mushroom. And then on top of that, you'll put some greens. So typically I like to use spinach. That seems to work the best. It's a very flat green. So that's usually what I put on there. And then on top of that, I'll put a layer of the hemp garlic sauce, and then put another layer of your zucchini strips, put that on top of there, and then just do it again. So do the marinara, mushrooms, or marinara, tomatoes, mushrooms, and then more greens, and then another little layer of the hemp garlic sauce, and then one more layer of the zucchini on the top, and then you can just cover that with a little bit more of the hemp garlic sauce and just sprinkle on top of that whatever, Italian or, lasagna like herb that you like. And you can just go from there, enjoy it. And I think you're really gonna love it. It's super simple. And the other thing that, like I mentioned, you hardly use any of the sauces, right? So again, you can use this in spaghetti or other pasta dishes or whatever. So on just in your salads. So it works really great.
Yeah, it looks amazing and it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing that. I just can't wait to have this after my juice cleanse. And to everybody out there, go try it. It's so freaking delicious. Come back, let us know how you like it. And be sure to follow Matt. I will link the interview we did before talking about his, I believe, 11 years on the raw vegan lifestyle now. And be sure to grab his books. They're absolutely incredible, top tier, amazing books. So go support him. He works so hard at this and he's so good at it. So thanks again, Matt. If there's anything you want to end off with, then absolutely please do so.
Yeah. So Jillian, I'll send you the actual recipe so you can, if you want to just put it in the show notes.
Perfect.
That way you can just copy and paste it if they want. And then, yeah, thank you so much for having me on, but also
Yeah.
to share the book. Yeah, I really put a lot of. I mean, this is the last over a decade of research and trial and error, and all the information that I have learned from my mentors and things that I've learned from my personal experience, and I've put it into a way that I think is practical for as many people as possible. I really
Mhm.
think anybody, regardless of how raw you want to be, this book can truly help you achieve a healthy and sustainable approach to the raw food diet and to a plant-based diet. So yeah, I just thank you again, Jillian, for having me on and letting me talk about the book.
Yeah, I love having you on and thanks for sharing this recipe. It's so awesome. And to the viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up right now. And be sure to subscribe if you don't already for more great videos just like this one. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye, guys.